I was carrying his pup, while my alpha planned to replace me with another woman and cast me out. So I signed the bond-breaking papers in silence. In 2 weeks, I'll disappear, and he'll lose everything he thought he owned. The day of my final moon blessing check for my unborn pup, my alpha mate, Jasper Wolfsbane, said he had to leave the territory for pack matters and couldn't come with me. So I sat alone in the healer's den, waiting in silence, when I saw something that froze my blood. Jasper stood not far away, his hand resting on Devora Frostbane's swollen belly. He lowered his head and pressed a soft kiss against it, his voice gentle in a way I knew too well. When our pup is born, he will be the true heir of the Wolfsbane pack, he said quietly. Devora lifted her face, her eyes full of false worry. Jasper, your mate is carrying a pup too. What if she learns about us? What if she refuses to accept my pup into the pack? Jasper let out a cold laugh. And who is she to refuse? If she causes trouble, I will break the bond. I will cast her out with nothing. Each word struck me like a blade. My body went rigid, my breath stuck in my throat. Jasper had pursued me for 10 winters. Everyone in the packs knew how deeply he loved me. After we formed our bond, he gave me 3 sacred tokens. The first was a pair of carved wolf figures, mixed with his own bone to show our souls were tied. The second was a necklace made from sea pearls he had gathered himself from the deep waters beyond the packlands. The third was the Luna crown of the Wolfsbane pack. It held the gem that opened the vault of the Alpha bloodline. It was power. It was trust. It was half the pack's wealth and authority. Once, he went into the wild sea just to find me a better pearl. He vanished for days. When they found him, his memory was gone. And Devora, a lowborn dancer from the outer dens, claimed she had saved him. When his memories returned, he came back to me and said he chose me again. I believed him. I didn't know he never truly left her. Now she carried his pup, and he was planning to throw me away like I meant nothing. My pup didn't need a weak alpha as a father. And I didn't need a bond that was shared. If he wanted to destroy everything I had, then I would leave before he could. I lifted my chin and called my father through the pack line. Father, I am ending my bond with Jasper. I will keep my pup. I will return to take over the Wintermoon territory, and I will accept the arranged mating with the Silverhaze Alpha. The moment the call ended, I arranged my departure from the territory. 2 weeks. That was all I needed. In 2 weeks, I would be gone forever. When I returned to the Wolfsbane Manor, I called my father again. Father, I have decided. I will keep the pup and take over our lands. I will also agree to the bond with the Silverhaze pack. There was silence before he spoke again. Nerissa, are you sure? The Silverhaze Alpha cannot have heirs. I am sure. Then my pup will inherit both Wintermoon and Silverhaze. He agreed without delay. Very well. I will contact them. Now you need to start preparing to leave this territory. I lowered my hand slowly and looked at the bond-severing documents. Each line felt like another step pulling me away from Jasper. Yesterday, at the healer's den, I saw him with Devora. At first, I refused to believe it. That night, he sent me a message and asked me to meet him at our usual place. I went, still holding on to hope. But before I entered, I saw through the small gap in the door. Devora sat on his lap, resting against him as if she belonged there. In that moment, everything inside me shattered. From inside the room, one of his pack brothers spoke. How long will you keep hiding this? If Luna Nerissa finds out, you may never win her back. Jasper stayed silent, only pulling Devora closer, his eyes cold. Then he spoke, his voice low. It's hard to love only one mate forever. Devora asks for nothing and Nerissa won't leave me. So why not keep both? He continued, she carries my pup. I cannot abandon her. His pack brothers looked at him in shock. Everyone knew how much he loved me. No one expected him to choose another. Have you lost your mind? One of them snapped. Do you remember what you did to win Luna Nerissa? And now you place her beside a dancer? What if that pup isn't even yours? He added, pointing at Devora. Before his words could settle, Jasper struck him hard. His eyes turned red with anger as he covered Devora's ears. Don't speak about her like that. She didn't choose her life. She saved me. If any of you insult her again, we are no longer brothers. With that, he turned and walked out, carrying her in his arms. My chest tightened painfully as I stepped back into the shadows. Just as he reached the door, he paused. No one tells my Luna about this, he said coldly. I will handle everything. Then he left. But Devora looked past him and met my eyes. Her lips curved in a quiet, victorious smile. She knew I was there. I looked down at my hand, my nails digging into my skin until it bled. The pain in my chest felt endless. 10 winters. 10 winters of love, loyalty and fire. And he destroyed it in just 2 months. This morning, he kissed my forehead like I was his world. Now he fought his own pack for another woman. And that woman carried his pup. A bitter laugh almost escaped me. It took me hours before I found the strength to return home. Pulling myself back from the memory, I tightened my hold on the bond papers. I would never share my mate, and my pup would never need a father who chose another. What's that in your hand? Jasper's voice broke the silence. Nerissa's POV. I froze the moment I heard his voice. He had come back. Drawing in a quiet breath, I turned to face him, forcing myself to stay steady. You're just in time. I need you to mark these. Before I could finish, the communication stone in his hand lit up. Devora. Her name flickered across the surface. Jasper gave me a brief, reassuring look as he answered, but that expression vanished almost instantly. His face darkened, his jaw tightening as he listened. Then, without warning, his hand came down across my face. The force of it made my head snap to the side. For a moment, I couldn't even react. Even after everything I had seen and heard, I never thought he would actually strike me. He lifted his hand again, but paused when he noticed the tears already slipping down my cheeks. Something in his expression shifted, though it didn't soften. Instead, he turned away abruptly and grabbed the wolf figurines from the table. With a sharp motion, he threw them to the ground. They shattered on impact, pieces scattering across the floor. Those figurines had once meant everything to us. He had shaped them himself, even mixing in his own bone, promising they would bind us together for life. And now, for her, he destroyed them without hesitation. You sent someone after Devora? His voice rose, filled with anger. She's carrying my pup, Rissa. Do you even understand what could have happened to her? I stared at the broken fragments, my body slowly turning cold. That was not just an object. It was everything we had built together, and he crushed it as if it meant nothing. Tears blurred my vision, my chest tightening until it felt hard to breathe. I wanted to speak, to defend myself, but the words would not come. Jasper's anger didn't grow louder. Instead, it settled into something colder, something far more unsettling. He stepped closer and gripped my chin, forcing me to look at him. His gaze was sharp, almost unreadable. Tell me where she is. I don't have time for this. It was not just anger I heard in his voice. It was concern. For her. A faint, bitter smile tugged at my lips as I forced the words out. I didn't do it. My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. I could not understand how we had reached this point. The man who once loved me so fiercely now looked at me as if I were a stranger. Yet no matter what I said, he didn't believe me. He shoved me back, his fist slamming into the wall beside me with a dull thud. Devora called me in tears, he continued, his voice tight. She told me everything. She said you were behind it. His eyes darkened further, his next words colder than before. Think carefully, Rissa. Your family, your territory. Do you really want me to destroy all of it? I stood there, my body stiff, barely able to move except to shake my head weakly. His expression hardened. Without another word, he grabbed my wrist and dragged me down the hallway. I stumbled behind him, panic rising as I realized where he was taking me. The storage chamber. Before I could struggle, he shoved me inside and slammed the door shut. The sound echoed in the darkness, heavy and final. For a moment, I just stood there, frozen, before panic rushed in all at once. I threw myself at the door, my hands pounding against it, but it didn't move. The space was small, closed, suffocating. My breathing became uneven as my knees gave out beneath me. Jasper knew. He knew I could not endure places like this. He knew what had happened to me as a pup, how I had been locked away in darkness, how it still haunted me. And yet, he still did this only for her. My fingers trembled as I scratched weakly at the door. Jasper, please, let me out. My voice broke, but there was no response. Only silence. Then, faintly, his voice came from the other side, cold and distant. You crossed the line, Rissa. Stay there and think about it. When I find her, I'll decide what to do with you. His footsteps faded, leaving nothing behind. Tears fell freely, one after another, as the darkness pressed in around me. I remembered the night I told him about my past, the way he had held me, his voice filled with pain, promising I would never have to face that fear again. After that, he always made sure doors stayed open. Lights were never allowed to go out. He said it was like his love, always there, never fading.